I hate being sick. I'm sure we all do. Being sick and staying home was always fine as a kid because you usually had someone there to take care of you, give you medicine and food. But as you're older, you have to do that all yourself. I know I sound selfish saying that, but you get it, right? No matter how long you've been having to take care of yourself, it's still a little inconvenient. And it may sound nice to not work, but you also don't get paid, unless you use your pay time off. Let's be real, we all could probably use that money you would have earned if you weren't sick. Also, okay, I hate calling out of work. I hate talking on the phone with my manager, telling them that they have to somehow cover my share of the work for the day. But anyways, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I mostly wanted to rant about how you feel when you're sick, mostly because I recently got sick and recovery took longer than usual. I considered my immune system to be pretty good, thankfully, but you know how people were saying that having COVID could have long-term effects? Well, I think I got one of those. I caught COVID once on New Year's of 2022, and I think my long-term effect is that I'm forever congested. Okay, not forever, but whenever I'm sick or under the weather, even weeks after my cold or something is done, my congestion is still there. Is that confirmed because I had COVID? Nope. But we humans like to have a reason for everything, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Congestion was always my number one annoyance with being sick, especially when I'm trying to sleep. People always say when you're sick, drink plenty of fluids and get plenty of rest. But how am I supposed to rest when I can't breathe? During the middle of the night, sometimes I'll wake up panting because I can't breathe through my nose. And at least 5 times during the night, this might be a little TMI, but I'll have to go to the bathroom to drain my nose to breathe a little. And even still, sometimes I feel like it's not enough oxygen. I tried so many remedies from humidifiers to vapor rubs, nose sprays, and nose strips. Okay, wait. Can someone please explain the science behind the nose strip and how it's supposed to work? I assumed it's the scent that helps, but they make unscented ones, and I usually get the unscented ones because I'm sensitive to strong smells. So what is it that opens up the airways if it just sits on top of your nose? Anyways, I tried one once, but I felt like it did absolutely nothing to help me, and I still couldn't breathe that night. Maybe I used it wrong. I also need a myth buster on pineapple juice for congestion. One of my coworkers told me that they heard pineapple juice was supposed to help with congestion. When I asked how, she wasn't sure. So I don't know what kind of information I'm throwing out into the universe.
Also, when there's sickness, there's usually medicine. Fun fact about me, I hate meds. I'm stubborn and say I'm strengthening my immune system by letting my body take care of itself. When I say I hate meds, I mean specifically pills. I don't like taking them. I have a difficult time swallowing them. And even if I do, I'm like overly dramatic about it. Like you can see my whole body working to get that pill down. I actually used to avoid pills at all costs, as in, even when I got all 4 of my wisdom teeth taken out, I only took the antibiotic because I had to and avoided the painkillers so I didn't have to take another pill. And I was dumb to wonder why my recovery hurt so much. And who knows, maybe that strengthening my immunity excuse actually is a thing, because, like I said before, I like to think my immunity is pretty good. I mean, I'm usually one of the last ones to get sick if there's a cold or flu circling in my household, and I'm extremely lucky I never gotten so sick I had to go to the hospital. Knock on wood. Another weird thing about me being sick, I weirdly like the feeling of having a fever. I mean, I hate being congested, but having a really low fever kind of feels nice to me. My mom used to do this thing when we had fevers as children where she would put an ice cold washcloth on our forehead and sometimes chest, and paired with the hot feeling of having a fever felt very relaxing to me, especially when you warmed up one side and flipped the cloth over to the other side and it was all cold. I also usually had a blanket on, even though they say not to bundle yourself up, so all those paired together was was nice. I think the worst time I ever gotten sick was when I was in 5th grade, and I briefly mentioned this story before, but I wasn't feeling good but ended up going to school anyways because I had to keep up with that school grind and threw up all over mine and my friend's desk. I just remember not only feeling sick to my stomach but also extremely embarrassed because it happened in front of all of my classmates. And I also had a crush on this boy in my class, and the fact that he saw all of that was petrifying. But that wasn't the end of it because my teacher sent my friend to help me to the bathroom, and I threw up on the way there and threw up again in the trash can in the bathroom. When we went to the classroom to get my backpack and stuff to go home, I remember seeing the janitor person cleaning everything up and feeling so awful. I even remember saying sorry that they had to clean up this random girl's rainbow off of everything. They were so nice too and just wished me to get well soon when they probably were so disgusted. And I stayed home for almost an entire week. Even when I caught COVID, I felt everyone I knew got pretty knocked out by it, but I was so incredibly lucky to have probably the mildest COVID case because my symptoms were minimal and I just took a week off of work. But also not so lucky maybe because my long-living congestion might have been the consequence for an easy COVID case. Funny story to end this video though, because my 5th grade story came back in full circle to haunt me. When I was in high school, I dated a boy who was close friends with my 5th grade teacher, and I told him to ask if my teacher remembered me by telling him I was the kid who threw a whole rainbow all over his classroom. And soon enough, he remembered exactly who I was.